Hi Capricorn, I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the 16th rather, to the 22nd of August. I hope you guys are doing great today. So I'm going to do some oracles, get a general lay of the land. Then I'll do a general spread, apply for all parts of life. Then I'll go into a relationship read. And then I'll do a separate spread for those of you in separation. I'm going to timestamp below for your convenience if you don't have time to hang out for the whole thing. You guys know my videos typically go a little on the longer side. So, and I know, life has to be lived. People have to work. All of that. All right, so let's see what we have going on for our Capricorn friends. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Loyal hearts starting out by the book. TikTok. Time is a thing for somebody. I don't know who's given maybe ultimatums, could be, or being very cognizant of time. So sticking with the chronology of this of this week, starting off on the 16th, Venus enters Libra, and I did mention that pretty extensively in that long relationship read that I put out last week for the month of August. For those of you who didn't check it out, Venus in Libra literally lives for relationships, right? But there is this energy where we can be very over idealistic about love. We're very willing to negotiate and compromise, but again, we are being at the same time very idealistic. So we want things to be done the right way, but we don't want confrontation. So just to be forewarned, just to be forearmed, right? Just a little heads up. You guys happen to have this in your 10th house. So the 10th house can affect your career because 10th house has to do with your career, but also long-term goals, your reputation, your public standing in the world. So are you married? Are you not married? What do you do for work? Something having to do with your career, anything like that, okay? Also, because 10th house is Capricorn energy, your energy, and because you guys are ruled by Saturn, which rules father, there could be something going on with father here as well. When we're talking about Libra, though, we're talking about the scales, which is balance, and this recognition. If something doesn't feel right, you're going to be able to recognize it, but you're also, because Venus is in there, you're not going to want the confrontation. So the best way to navigate this energy, first of all, is to just enjoy the beauty of it. But if you feel like you're being pushed into a corner where you're being made to acquiesce to somebody else's needs, that at the end of the day, you're going to be sorry. It's kind of like that thing where it's like you hear yourself saying yes, you feel the words are coming out and you're like, oh no, I can't take that back, kind of thing. You don't want to say yes to something that you know you're going to later end up silently regretting. So just a little heads up there. Enjoy the energy. It's very nice for your career. It's very nice for the people that you work with. It's even nice for your marriage. You're not going to want to deal with a lot of icky, sticky confrontation. It's just the way the Libra energy is. Libra does not like confrontation. You might even find that you're very confused about something, actually, having to do with money and career, or about your career, or about your relationship. Because Libra is definitely the most indecisive sign. It struggles with analysis paralysis more than any other sign. So we have that going on. And then on the 18th, so I'm going to kind of be blending in some of the astrology things that I think are relevant. There's always a ton of stuff going on in the sky, but not everything's worth mentioning on a week to week. But Jupiter's forming a semi-square to Chiron on the 18th, and even though this is a minor aspect, it's subtle, I kind of feel like it is worth mentioning. I just do. I mean, you have right now, first of all, Chiron's going to be retrograde in Aries until the end of the year, until December 28th, in your 4th house of home, roots, family, your ability to feel grounded, rooted, and safe and secure, how you handle your emotions, issues having to do with your ability to mother or parent. I'm going to even say father. Really, it's a more modern interpretation, but I do feel like having to do with kids, right? But how you are with them. Right, there's going to be a lot of healing that's going on there. And Jupiter's sitting in the 2nd house. So that's going to be going on in the 2nd house. But let's talk about the semi-square first, right, between these two. Because what does this mean? Between your 2nd house of money, work, income, your daily routines, your material possessions, things that matter to you, your priorities, your habits, your work that you do, your ethics, right? And so it's going to be sitting in this light tension with your house of home, roots, family, self-care, all of that stuff. So you're going to be feeling very hungry for meaning and understanding, though. But it can be difficult to align yourself with an exact personal philosophy or belief system that honestly reflects what it is that you really even want, what you're feeling about money and home, right? What it is that, what are you really feeling? It's very easy to be led astray by beliefs and ideas right now, no question. Or you might experience some kind of crisis of faith in a situation. It's just very important right now, Capricorn, to look within and figure out a greater understanding of what you really need or believe, rather than blindly following or blindly listening to anybody else right now. Right? You don't want to do that, because it's something somebody's trying to convince you of may not actually serve your highest purpose. So anything that you feel like you're getting into, especially anything new or anything like where you feel like you're leveling up, where you're taking a relationship to the next level, or you're taking that career move to that next level, right? Especially any just sort of newish endeavors like that will require a closer look before pushing forward. I'm feeling very called to say that. All right. Forgive and forget, make a plan, reassess. All right. A lot of healing going on here for sure. Chiron retrograde in there. But also we have to mention that second house is also where the full moon is happening in Aquarius. Very late in Aquarius. Very late. 29 degrees and 37 minutes. It's like almost Pisces at that point, right? But we have to read it as Aquarius. So Aquarius full moon is very values independence, right? When it comes to, for you guys, money, income, what matters to you, how you value yourself also is second house, right? So you want your independence, right? But you're also in the space of recognizing that you need other people. You want to have other people in it. Even if you're saying you don't, you need other people. And that's what's going to be going on with this particular full moon, because that Leo sun that's sitting across the wheel there in the 8th house of merging, sex, intimacy, shared finances, inheritance, property matters, but also if it has to do with business, it's also any sort of like joint venture. Your partner's resources. So it could be your marriage partner, your intimate partner, your business partner, and like any venture that you guys are going into together. So there's very me versus we tension that's going to be illuminated right now. And to that point, we can feel like this sudden bursting forth of proclamations and outpouring of epiphanies that feel really fresh and new to us in the moment. Right, these light bulb realizations, but they've probably been hanging out in your mind for a bit, just not rationalized yet or realized yet, right? But this is a time where you're going to be waking up to the need for others on that money and value axis. And it's everybody's going to be feeling it, but especially those with personal planets and points at approximately 26 to 30 degrees of the fixed sign, which would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, or 0 to 4 degrees of the mutables, Gemini, Virgo, Sag, and Pisces. And I know that doesn't speak, directly to you guys, but you're not only Capricorn. So one of those energies might be your rising sign, your moon sign, your Venus sign. And so you would definitely be feeling it there. But let's get started here. We have loyal heart, and against the grain is clarifying that. Forgive and forget, and dreams. Wow. I feel like somebody's asking you or expecting you to do something that feels very uncomfortable for you. It's like going against your grain. And you have to really bring it down and bring it home and figure out what feels right to you. And it's on that point that I'm going to segue into the fact that Uranus is turning retrograde in Taurus on the 19th, because this is very much speaking to this. Very much. Uranus is in your 5th house of romance, love affairs, creativity, the way you express yourself. It has to do with projects that you that you created, entrepreneurial efforts. The 5th house, Uranus, also indicates what's going on with your children as well, okay? So why is it important? Uranus is really important right now, Capricorn. It just really is, especially with that Leo new moon that we had that was conjunct Lionsgate. That was a very creative energy. Our emotions were running very, very high, right? But the way that it was also activating this Uranus energy. Remember, Uranus is the great awakener. It's connected to our third eye opening, right? If you don't know what that means, it just means raising in consciousness, right? Without just keeping it simple. But Uranus is all about the Great Awakener. It's about change. Uranus kicks things up and shakes things up in order to wake us up, right? And it's through the shaking and waking up of our reality that we're going to be able to see things in a new light, perceive things from a new vantage point, experience growth. Uncertainty is just a part of life. Even though it's uncomfortable, it can be very powerful in its teaching. And it helps us to understand how to detach and stay in the present moment in order for us to recognize the full potential of a situation, even if it's only bringing us into a space of fully recognizing what we really want out of a situation. You know that saying, I've been saying it in a lot of the videos, when nothing is certain in life, anything is possible. It's that kind of thing. You don't have to be a slave to the uncertainty, right? So that's why really, and because this Uranus energy, it's going to be working twofold, right? On the one hand, it's going to be waking us up to any areas where we've had a blind spot, right? Where you just haven't been able to see the full scope of reality of that relationship, that person, that situation. And this could just feel more noticeable now. So you really want to ask yourself, where can I look at and view any uncertainty I'm feeling in my life as a possibility for growth, as a possibility to handle things differently, to help grow myself into the life meant for me, right? This is the big question that you want to be asking yourself, because that's just Uranus. But now Uranus, very profound this week, is going to be going retrograde. So we're all going to be turning inward, right? Uranus is a very outward, fast, future-focused energy, but when he goes retrograde, you're going within to figure out what might be holding you back from living the most authentic, the most valued, treasured, spontaneous life that you could. And I know that sounds very sort of global and very, a little out there and airy-fairy, but it's like an important and profound question to be asking yourself now internally. Externally, you're going to be less rebellious. Externally, you're going to be inclined to kind of go with the flow more, but you're going to be feeling this shift. This Uranian energy is going to be feeling more challenging because you're going to be experiencing some tension until you acclimate to the directional change that's happening here. And there is directional change happening in that 5th house, 11th house energy. So it could be some sort of change going on in how a relationship is going, some sort of project, something to do with your kids, something to do with that, right? But this is what's happening right now. And I do want to say, the sun right now is, with this full moon, is hanging in Leo in the 8th house, but then it's going to be going into the 9th house. And Virgo makes us focus on the details. And in that 9th house, focusing on the details of maybe you need to make a move. Maybe you need to negotiate a project differently, because 9th house is foreign land, foreign travel, right? So the need to move, it could indicate that. It could also indicate your moral code, your moral compass, your belief system in something. It could be several of these things at once. But it also has to do with negotiating, publishing, advertising, marketing, laws, belief system. It's a lot of things. Your ethics, your religion, your faith. So there's going to be a lot of focus on that late on the 22nd when the sun goes into Virgo. So there's going to be a lot of that. But I feel like that's very relevant here, because it does seem like you're going to be recognizing that something that's being asked of you is just not feeling right. And you're going to have to sit with yourself and say, all right, is it not feeling right because there's everything wrong with it morally, from what I feel, or am I just feeling kind of stuck in my ego? Right? I mean, that's a big question, right? That you have to ask and answer. It's going to resonate with all of you a little differently. So we have this idea of going by the book, right? By the book, right? This is very like a Hierophant energy. What's expected, we need to conform. This is the way it goes. We need to follow the rules, da-da-da. This, it should be this, and this. And that's being clarified by after the storm. Very powerful energy, guys, because this indicates that there's been something that's been rather chaotic, tumultuous, or just at the very least uncomfortable going on. And now that's done, though. Like some sort of epiphany was reached. And now what's left standing? This is the energy really of saying, okay, the storm came, the trees were shaken, The dead wood fell off the tree. Now let's go and see what's still standing. What has the strength to move forward into the future? And realizing this. So I feel like a lot of you are in this space of realizing that you want to live your life in a more authentic way to your belief system and not be at the mercy of either a person or a group of people in a way where you feel like your needs aren't even being paid attention to. Not that you're not willing to be flexible and work with something, but like where you feel like maybe your feelings are not correct in reality. Maybe they're not. We can't always trust our emotions. Our emotions are ruled by the moon, which changes every 1.5 to 2.5 days. So, okay, but it's how you're feeling. And it's time to make a plan. So what are you going to do about that? You're getting help from above, so no worries. Capricorn. Maybe, somebody has your back on the other side. If you have a loved one on the other side, like, really pay attention. I have to tell you, especially with Uranus energy that's retrograde, when Uranus goes retrograde, people's dreams are a lot more intense. Just generally speaking, the veil is a little thinner. It just is. And we can feel. So pay attention to quick shifts in temperature around you, weird things going on with your technology. If you see feathers out of nowhere, if you see cardinals or blue jays out of nowhere, these are all indicators that somebody is right with you, or suddenly you smell somebody, right? And I was just talking about this last week where I was going into Whole Foods, I think it was Whole Foods, and I woke up thinking so heavily about my grandfather, so heavily about Grandpa Al. It was just, I think about him a lot anyway. I lost him many years ago. He was my best friend when he was with us. But I was having something that I was trying to figure out. It was a problem that I was trying to figure out. And I was very, deep in thought, giving myself the morning to really think things through. And as I'm getting out of the car at Whole Foods, I smelt his cigars, which I hated. And I used to yell at him for smoking them. But it was his cigars mixed with his cologne. So it wasn't just cigar, it was his smell, you know what I mean? And I smelt it all the way as I went in there. I didn't smell it when I came back out. So I knew he was with me. So stuff like that. I feel like somebody needed to hear that. I don't really talk about myself on here. You guys know that. So we have this idea of TikTok. Time. Inner trust. Reassess. And have faith. We have the help from above. We have dreams, help from above, and have faith. There's this reassessing of your own self, of your own inner trust, of you trusting yourself. But I feel like a lot of you are like, okay, clock is moving forward, calendar is moving forward, days become weeks, become months, become years, and you're very, very aware of this right now. So if something is feeling against the grain and you're being asked to do something that doesn't feel right to you, even something that you've been very loyal to, it's time to take stock, reassess, and make a decision. And maybe shift into another direction, right? Remember, again, with that Uranus retrograde energy, you're asking yourself, am I holding myself back from being in the life that I want when it comes to my love life, when it comes to my creativity, when it comes to something going on with my children? Right? And I feel like, there's going to be this release because you have the South Node in Sagittarius in your 12th house. There's going to be this release of in this in your willingness to keep yourself small in your life. You're going to have this release in you martyring yourself, you allowing yourself to be victimized because of a person or a situation. That South Node is all about release, and it's happening in your subconscious in that 12th house of limiting beliefs, and you're releasing it there. And the gift is happening in your North Node in Gemini in the 6th house, which has to do with your mental, physical, and emotional health. So I think it also has to do with your day-to-day work environment and your pets. But that's where the gift is coming in. So you're going to feel very good after you release something. So if you're feeling like victimized, martyred, not appreciated, whatever it is, if you can't readjust that situation in your life to be in a space that you feel comfortable, if you release that, trust me, you're going to feel so much better at the end of the day. Very nice energy there, my friends, honestly. Yes. that's where the gift is coming in for you. So let's, you know what, let's go right away. I don't know why I'm being called to use these. Old school right away. Old school right away. Okay. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Let's see what we have here. So I'll connect these to general areas in life, you know, and then we'll do separate relationship read. I love this last row, Capricorn. You know, I love it because you're taking care of yourself. You're in a space of not being sure, and that's okay. Sometimes, what did I say? Sometimes uncertainty is just inevitable. But that uncertainty is exactly what you need to kind of lean into to help sort of detach and say, all right, what am I really feeling here? We have, starting up in this energy, we have the Five of Cups. So this could have to do with any area in your life where you experienced either loss, leaving, you could have left, somebody else could have left, just generalized sadness. This could have to do with a relationship, a friendship, a work or money situation, but something ended before you felt ready for it. But this is the thing. This is a good card to understand this, which is why this is like the best stack, honestly, to learn tarot on. There's this focus of him on the 3 cups that are down, but he's not paying attention to the 2 cups that are of value, still standing behind him though. He's focusing on the disappointment, and he's not recognizing in the moment the value in something. This could be a lesson that needs to be learned. This could be your sense of self, what you bring to the situation. Basically, not all is lost. Keep in mind, it's still also a minor arcana. Minor arcana just means it's not going to be a long-lasting kind of energy, but it's something that needs to be recognized. But it's through this sadness that we have the Ace of Swords clarifying. Beautiful. Ace of Swords is getting over past obstacles, getting what you want, thoughts becoming things in all kinds of relationships. So there's a healing energy having to do with that there, okay, which I think is good. But this is an energy also though of like new beginnings. So even if you are maybe rectifying something in a relationship, getting over past things, it's almost going to feel there's like a newness to it. It's like a new beginning, new decision, clear thinking. So it could be clear thinking in anything from love to work to any area of your life, but an immediate change to your circumstances for the better, because this is a very mentally agile sword. So there's a lot of mental agility and assertiveness. Is going to be this drive to move forward. So where is the planet of assertiveness hanging out in your chart? It's in the 9th house of your belief system, of negotiating, right? With the sun's going to be going in there with Virgo, Mercury's in there. So there's going to be a lot of like conversation as well. Assertive though, let's not go aggressive, let's not go overzealous. But there's going to be some sort of rectifying that element of sadness, of loss, that situation. There's got to be this conversation. And the conversation is really beautiful. Right? Clarifying that is the 10 of Pentacles. So this conversation is going to be about family, about deepening a commitment, about working together on a project, about shared values being experienced. This could have to do with property, legacy, inheritance. This could be a conversation about inheritance, this idea of sharing. That's being clarified though by the 5 of Swords. So some of you might be dealing with a tricky or challenging family member when it comes to some sort of inheritance or property situation, could be, or a lawyer or something like that. Is the 5 of Swords is this clash between what it is that you want and the reality of a situation. And it's that tension and that conflict that you can't get in front of, because the main issue is something that you can't control. So you're better off walking away from the situation with your anger and disappointment, whatever it is, at least just for a minute. Again, minor arcana, step away, let the situation breathe a little bit, because you can't mitigate somebody else's stuff. You can't fix the unfixable. You can't. So some of you may be having a conversation about deepening of a relationship, about getting married, about being able to move a relationship forward, and there being this recognition where this is what I want. I want to have the relationship, the business, the whatever it is, to be a Ten of Pentacles. I want to be able to take whatever it is, and I want to be able to grow it. I want to be able to mature it. I want to make more money, if that's the case. I want to buy that house, have that baby, get married, launch that project, whatever it is, right? But it's this energy that there's got to be this recognition of like past or like and disappointment, whatever it is, having to do with this situation, and this recognition that the reality that you want is not going to be in alignment with the reality that you're able to live right now. So you're going to have to decide here with this Death card. You may need to step away from a situation. Okay, so first of all, the death does not have to be negative. We can look at it as an energy of needing to breathe. Okay, so for some of you, this is a relationship ending temporarily. For some others of you, permanently, if it was very, very toxic for you. Right? But this is a relationship ending, at least being in a space of separation that's necessary if you guys are ever going to find your footing again in the future, right? Because the way something's been up to this point is not good for you. And you're realizing it's going against your grain, right? So something hasn't been healthy for you. So some of you may even find like friendships fall away at this time. Family members can sort of fall away at this time. Relationships, whatever it is. But there is this element of the ability to reconnect, right? If the foundation has value later on. But everybody just kind of has to step back and breathe. If this is to do with career or money, this could be a possible ending of a business connection or an avenue of money. And even though things might seem tough initially, this energy indicates that there's something new right there for you, right on the very close horizon. You just have to be patient for it. I feel like you feel that, right? You feel like it is coming. I mean, we have Leo sitting in your 8th house, that 8th house of merging. It's also, like money coming to you from other sources, right? It is that. But also, like, if this has to do also with like a work or money situation, because Cancer is sitting in your 7th house of contracts. So it's business partners, contracts. It's also marriage and relationships. That Cancer energy sitting in the 7th, you may feel kind of disillusioned or disappointed in a relationship, disappointed or disillusioned in the way a contract is rolling out, feeling like, if you were to, you may feel even to a certain extent like, not feeling like, questioning whether it was even worth it, right? Or it is worth it in the long term. Doesn't mean it's not, but you don't be surprised if you find yourself in that space. And of course, so naturally we have the 9 of Swords clarifying that, which is about some, expected anxiety, honestly. I mean, this is about feeling maybe depressed, just not responding well to the external stress, because your way out of something, your way to figure something out, it's not very clear to you right now, right? This is a Mars and Gemini energy, right? So Mars is very focused on, is this the right thing for you, Capricorn? And you might be like, I don't know, right? That if I knew that, I'd be golden, right? But it's just like that not knowing, right? So, but again, another energy where like, let it breathe. Let something breathe. Let something breathe. Now, some of you may just be straight up having a lot of stress about moving. I know that seems random and not connected, but the death energy can also be your living circumstances changing, because you realize that where you were living, you just either no longer meet your needs, or you're just not feeling it anymore. Some of you might even get a job that requires you to live somewhere else. That's for some of you. Okay, but clarifying this 9 of Swords, we have the King of Wands. The King of Wands is about, this is a Cancer and Leo energy. So a lot of you may be very focused on how safe and secure, Cancer, do you feel in that relationship, Leo? And you saying, you know what, I need to feel a greater sense of freedom in here. right? It's like you wanting to go in and express yourself and how you feel within that relationship, right? And you want to go after what you want and all of that. But make sure you don't allow the idea of perfectionism to get in your way, because you bring everything to the table that you need. So if somebody's saying like that you're an issue, tell them to just sit down because that is not the energy here, right? And if they say that to you, oh, well, I being with you, I can't be with you because of A, B, and C, because of this, this, and this. It's going to hurt you, obviously. Who wants to hear that? That's heartbreak. That's pain of a truth. That's feeling kind of betrayed. That's something that could incite depression. There's no question. But at least you're going to know what's going on. And the doubt's going to be lifted and the lights are going to be on. And you're going to be in a space where you're going to be able to move on from the situation. So that's going to be for some of you. Others of you, you're making the very hard decision to end something. And you may be the one that's inciting the heartbreak here. Because the King of Wands, it's the King of Wands, first of all, it's like being very, very in tune with how safe and secure you feel in that relationship, how safe and secure you feel in that creative project, how safe and secure you feel with that in that situation regarding your child or your children, right? And you're saying, all right, you know what, I have to stand my ground. I have to, and if somebody comes back and you're like, no, well, you can't think like that. You're like, oh, yeah, no, I can actually. Because as it turns out, being a King of Wands, you're a free spirit. Nobody could come in and try to micromanage you. So if anybody's trying to do that, again, tell them to sit down, Capricorn. All right, now we have the King of Swords. Going totally air. Go in air, focusing on your mind instead of your heart to take charge of your circumstances. 8 is the number of mastery. Focus on responsibilities, focus on your work, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, emotionally. Really nice energy. And this also means like money or connection is on its way though here as well, which I like, because you're going to be putting a lot of energy and focus into something that's going to go really well for you. And then clarifying that, we have the Queen of Coins. Yes, so this is you taking care of your heart, your body, your mind, your finances, right? Beautiful energy. Understanding what you need to grow in your life in this way, even if you don't have the actual, you haven't received the instruction manual yet on how to actually create the life exactly that you want, but you're kind of at least figuring out what's not working for you, which is golden, right? That's golden. Really beautiful, okay? And that could have to do with any part of your life. Now, this could also indicate some of you focusing on the practicalities and working on very diligently your marriage, managing your finances within a situation, growing a situation, including maybe you're very sort of like, all right, I need to focus very diligently on getting pregnant, growing our family, moving into a home, growing my business, developing that project, launching that project, whatever it is. Okay? It's whatever that is, because it's a Sagittarius and Capricorn energy, right? And you guys rule work, right? And Sagittarius is about moving forward with integrity and intention, right? So that's where you're at. But like low-key under it, you're feeling confused. Because we have the Hangman. The Hangman, you may be very sort of like, I'm not sure how they really feel about me. I'm not sure how they really feel about my work. I'm just not sure. Because this is a Neptune energy. Neptune is very smoke and mirrors. By the way, Neptune in Pisces is hanging out in your 3rd house right now. So there might be some fog hanging out around the area for you right now, Capricorn, of communication. Communicating with your siblings, your extended family, your neighbors, how you feel about where you live, how you feel about what you're interested in right now even. You're like, I'm not even sure what I'm into anymore. Don't be hard on yourself. That's just Neptune and Pisces. And it can be very frustrating. Neptune and Pisces in the 3rd house, it's like, I know I'm speaking the language. Why am I not being understood the way I'm saying it? Why are they accepting it in the wrong way? Where you almost feel like your intentions aren't really being very understood. You may feel very misunderstood at this point, which can be frustrating when it comes to outside people. But inside yourself, I like what I'm seeing here, because you're being very true to yourself. Even if it's painful, even if it's challenging, having to do with any part of your life. So I like that. So let's see what's going on for relationships for our Capricorn friends. I'll do a Celtic cross spread, and then I'll pull separate for separation. Timestamps below. So I'm going to say that again. General messages, guys. Remember, don't try to make it fit if it doesn't fit. Capricorn, what's going on in relationships? Okay. All right, my friends, let's take a deep breath. A deep breath. We have the Nine of Coins coming into this energy. I like this energy. It's Venus and Virgo. This is you working on yourself. And being very focused on doing very solid work on yourself, so that you could be in something that you identify as being very healthy. Remember, 9 is the number of productivity. So it's truly an integration of body, mind, and spirit, and you being very sort of committed to being the best version of yourself, even if you don't have it all figured out. It's like you, at least your intention was going in the right direction. But you right now, you're the High Priestess reversed, so temporarily being on the wrong path. Right? Maybe listening to some bad advice, or somebody that you're dealing with in relationship might be trying to manipulate you in a way that makes you feel like you're going against your intuition, right? And this can also mean in addition to, parallel also, that there's some sort of secret that really does need to come out into the light. Now, I don't know if you're a secret in a relationship, if there is a secret within the relationship, but there's that energy but the thing is, because it's showing up as you, I feel like, again, we got that against the grain energy. It's like that voice in your belly, your intuition is saying, I don't know if this is the right thing for me, really. At the end of the day, I'm just really not sure. But you're being challenged by the truth. You're being challenged by figuring out the psychological motivation of somebody that you're dealing with. And you're having a really hard time staying strong within that experience. Not that you're not strong within your own self, but it's like when it comes to that person, you could be strong with your kids and at work and with your friends and your family and all that, but there's something going on here that is really challenging you to... because you may have an element of confusion about this, right? So the basis of the situation we have is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands rather, in the reverse, and this indicates rejection, delay in the relationship. There could be rejection in the relationship. There could be a false start experienced, where there could be somebody who's very manipulative and almost very brutal, where there might be some deflection, some gaslighting, some narcissistic tendencies. The current situation right now is the Five of Cups, though. And the Five of Cups is that energy of loss and leaving and sadness and feeling very sad in the moment. Very, very sad. Because of the situation not working out. And you being in this space where you're trying to figure everything out. Step back, though. Getting a very strange energy, Capricorn. I feel like some of you, at least, enough of you where I'm feeling it. I'm feeling like the top of my arms. I'm a Taurus moon, so I get all my messages come through my body. When the top of my arms are hot and cold at the same time, there is like narcissistic deflection, egotism. Doesn't mean they have narcissistic personality disorder, but there's manipulation, somebody trying to get their way. Yeah. The recommended approach, something to look at. The Emperor reverse. Here we go. Here we go. Narcissistic tendencies, domineering. Somebody who will say anything to get their own way. Egotism. Somebody who crosses boundaries. Now, this is an energy that you need to look at. Now, the energy that's external to you or others in your life. This is the Three of Coins. I normally like this energy, right? It's a Mars and you, Mars and Capricorn. This is about collaborating and coming together, right? But this is sort of like, this is like, I call this the Architect card. Those of you who've been watching me for a while now, I call it the Architect card. So I just feel like somebody that you're dealing with is trying to sort of like micromanage how everything works out, like draw the sketch of how they think things should be, if that makes sense. Like, this is what I feel like. Somebody's coming in saying, no, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Like, somebody wants to push something forward with you, but meanwhile you're like, whoa, what kind of energy am I dealing with? I just feel like your eyes are very open to something right now. For many, many reasons, especially because Uranus is retrograde this week. If you're not in it right now, you're going to be in it. Or all of a sudden, it's going to be incredible how crystal clear, because this is happening in your area of romance and love, right? How crystal clear everything is going to look during Uranus retrograde. Your challenge here is the Hermit, your block. So the Hermit in reverse, this is like psychologically, you might feel alone and very unsupported right now. You might even feel kind of lost, but this is because you don't want to ask for help with this situation. You don't want to confront a situation in the way that you know you have to. Do you know what I mean? It's not to say that you're not confronting a situation, but you may be confronting it with a particular endpoint involved rather than based on maybe fully the reality of a situation. This could also manifest as feeling victimized or martyred because you're having a hard time moving on from a situation that you know intuitively is not very good for you, right? And you might even be feeling kind of cut off from the other people in your life because of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's not uncommon, right? When we're dealing with something that's very personal and painful, we kind of cocoon ourselves and it's like, leave me alone. But you need people right now. You need people, Capricorn. Email me if you need somebody to talk to. All right. We have the Devil reverse. We have you reverse in the near future. I'd much rather have the Devil reverse than in the upright, to be honest. This is just a more positive take on, like, wherever you've been feeling restricted, wherever you've been feeling held back, that energy is going to be dealt with more easily right now because things are going to become more clear. Things are going to be easier for you to actually tackle. And things are actually not as bad as you really think they are in the moment, over the long term, having to do with the trajectory of your life. Things are not as bad as you thought, right? Now, as the final outcome energy, we do have the Six of Cups reverse, which can be living in the past. This can indicate an energy of being rather naive and unrealistic, or having unrealistic expectations about something, about a person, about a relationship. Not an easy energy, I know. So I will not leave you there. Let's see what's going on. We have that being clarified by the Nine of Cups reverse, which is about, Nine of Cups reverse is about somebody who is not willing to put the work into a relationship. They're just not. There's an element of greed here. So greed, I would say greed wears many hats. We could be greedy with money, but we can be greedy about concessions that we're willing to make in relationship. I don't feel like it's you though, Capricorn. I feel like you're dealing with an energy like this. Right? And they're not willing to they're like kind of lazy when it comes to putting the work in to manifest what it is that you guys maybe had discussed up to this point as being possible within the relationship. And we have the Magician energy, Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So trying to have a communication to solve problems here. Nine of Swords. So you're going to be talking about your anxiety, how you're not responding well to the reality of a particular situation. It's just not feeling right to you. We have the Two of Cups. And then we have the Queen of Coins. Hold on, let me pull one more. And then we have the Three of Wands. So the Two of Cups is a Venus and Cancer energy. It's mutually supportive, right? It can indicate within you harmony returning to this energy of you being able to feel good and secure and safe in something. As it's Venus, Venus rules love and self-esteem and money, right? In Cancer, when it's in Cancer, it's like, you know, how good do you feel? How solid do you feel in this situation? So sitting down and having a very powerful heart-to-heart, right? And recognizing what's been difficult. And wanting there to just be harmony in the situation regardless, right? Just regardless. Now, some of you are going to be having this conversation and making the decision. We have 2 consecutive cards that mean marriage. Some of you are going to be resonating with it like that. But I feel like I need to give more interpretations of that, because the Queen of Coins is a marriage card. It's money coming to those of you who are coupled. It's good financial management. It's fertility. So maybe finding out that, you know, that you're pregnant, anything like that. And the Three of Wands is a marriage card, right? Four of Wands is the honeymoon card. This could indicate a marriage or at least an important relationship. Moving on to realized plans. But this is like moving into the future, turning your back on the past in a different way, okay? So some of you are going to be addressing your relationship. I'm sorry if I feel like I'm sort of hesitant in how I'm saying this. I feel like I'm getting several different messages at once, and I don't want to confuse you. So those of you, you know who you are. If you're in a situation where things are not good, you're dealing with a bit of a messy energy, but you are not ready to end it yet, it could go into at least a time period where things seem like they're in a good space and there's open communication and you're feeling more hopeful about moving forward into the future. And you definitely want to focus on that. And then just keep yourself open to any sort of changes, right? Good, bad, or indifferent that could happen on the way. Others of you are going to be recognizing that you're unrealistic in your ability to meet your goals and your needs in the area of relationship by staying with this person. And you're recognizing it, you're realizing it, and you're having the conversation about it. But at the end of the day, in order for you to feel harmonious in your own skin, it's time for you to focus more on yourself. Focus on taking care of your body, your mind, your energy, right? And going in a whole other direction, just turning your back on the past and meeting somebody else. You might be stepping into something very unconventional for you. You might be meeting, because the Three of Wands can indicate you meeting somebody who is from a different, something's different about it. Either the situation or the person. Maybe they're a different ethnicity from a different culture. They live in another country. Something you would never do, up to this point. You're like, oh, I would never do that. Maybe you're entertaining that now. It's something different, though, away from what you've been in. So some of you are going to be staying. But the thing is this, and I know you're probably not going to want to hear this. If you stay, you're also going to be very aware that something is like not really very healthy here. Uranus retrograde in your 5th house, you're not going to be able to not see that. Even if you try, please don't be mad at me. I'm only the messenger, okay? So it does seem like there's a lot of opportunity like right in front of you, but away from where you've been. But it's because there's this element of strength in a way. I'm not saying this because I'm speaking to you. I think you guys have been watching me for a while, know that. Like, I tend to be as honest as I can. You know, you can't slip that Cinderella slipper onto all the messages, right? I will never try to do that. I don't think it's fair or right, but I'm not saying this just because it's you. I honestly believe, though, Capricorn, and I feel like more than anything, you are so strong right now because you've been through so much. Because when you were the south node of the moon, up until the spring of 2020, you had, for a couple of years before that, you had your asses handed to you. And now it's just been like a continuous rollout. But now it's usually like a year out where like the strength and the gifts of that hard time starts to come in. So having that in your energy, not to be underrated at all. Capricorns are entering a really nice time. But you know what's tricky right now is that a lot of the unhealthy relationships, jobs, behaviors, people, family, whatever, that's been hanging around, that while you are the south node of the moon, that you should have been releasing and letting go, but you, for whatever reason, kept them hanging on. Now it's like a lot of those things truly don't even make any real sense to you anymore. Truly. Doesn't mean you're ready to completely, cut and run, but at least you're not in the space of saying, okay, having illusions that they're actually really going to be able to change. I do feel like for a hot minute you are going to be, somebody's going to smooth talk you. It does seem like. You do whatever you want. I don't judge. I'm the last one, right? To do that. Do whatever you feel. But I do know, like, energetically, you're going to be feeling some energy under that. All right. So let's discuss our friends in separation. Our love was too intense for me to handle. I needed to break away. And that's being clarified by Sword and Rose. Clarity, truth, revelation, protection. I need more time to figure things out, but I don't want to lose you. And Capricorn also, most of you know this, but this could be you towards them towards you, or the enmeshed energies right towards each other. I feel like I don't know who I am anymore. Twin flame, yin-yang balance coupling. Conflict is a necessary step in the growth process. Be patient, this will pass. There's so much unspoken between us. I need to tell you how I really feel. Clarified by the runner. Runner in a codependent relationship. Fear of intimacy. Listening to ego. Clarifying that. You show me a stability and security I have never known. Somebody's confused. I miss your beautiful smile and joyous laugh. They used to light up my world. Very aware of time again. We have another clock card here. Need time, takes time, in time, cycles, time to heal and progress. Oh, no. Capricorn, this is beautiful. You are my red thread. Those of you who don't know what this is, we throw around the term soulmate all the time. Soulmates are very painful. And most of the time they're in our life for a reason or a season, not a lifetime. Red thread, they're in your life for a lifetime. They're there. There's your person. At least they think you are their person. It's your soulmates. It's painful. It's powerful. Lessons, icky lessons. But what a red thread is that you guys are able to figure them out together and work it out together and move forward together. So, yeah, I mean, the mythology of it is that when we're born, and a red thread is tied to our ankle, and the other end of the thread is tied to somebody else's ankle, and it's our soul's part of our soul's purpose in life is to find the other end of our thread. And as we find each other, we have to learn lessons and go through a lot of trials and tribulations in order to make it happen. And a lot of times the red thread energies, I could say, is like very it's full of such powerful lessons that you may often wonder if there's any way that it could ever work. And only you know the answer to that. You know, I wouldn't even venture to get into that. But these are just, I just pose the questions, you know. All right, my friends, this is what I have for you for this week. I hope this was helpful in some way. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.